So I'm going to do this because, well, I'm outside just chilling out on my break. This is Jay McLove. And I got like a message from YouTube about disinformation. And I don't believe that's a real thing. I think if you have questions about something that you shouldn't, be forced not to be able to speak out about things that you feel go against what you believe in without being called a denier or whatever, like you don't believe it, so that must mean that whatever your real thoughts about it aren't true. So I don't really believe in disinformation. I think it's just a bunch of hogwash. Actually, I think it's just a way for YouTube and Facebook and what used to be Twitter, but now he's cool, to control us and control our thoughts and actions. And it's just, it's a real unfair way, because if you have a beef with your government, you should be able to say how you feel without the threat of us being ostracized and, being belittled, being put down, being cancel cultured, or whatever the Democrats are doing to people. I think it's repugnant in a educated society where we can't discuss issues and act like adults. And why can't we? And I also think that it just stops the conversation and things don't get talked about that should be talked about. Like JFK was talking about a shadow government, secret societies that shouldn't exist behind the scenes, running things for the people they don't need to be running. And he said it. Is he also a conspiracist? So you're saying your own president, the one that got shot, was a conspiracist. And I guess Martin Luther King was a conspiracist there too, because anybody with their own ideas, no matter how great, if it doesn't jive with your jive, it's no longer a good idea, even though these people could be spiritual leaders. It could have been Jesus Christ on the mountain. You would have said it didn't jive with your belief system, so it must be disinformation. And I think you're going to shut down a lot of geniuses on this platform by not allowing them to speak, just because it doesn't go with what you believe doesn't mean it shouldn't be said or discussed. As adults, intelligent adults who went to college, we should be able to discuss how we feel without losing our minds and calling everything disinformation like we're 5 years old. I'm just a little tired of living in a society where everything is disinformation if it isn't on the news because some overpaid relic of a newscaster didn't say it. So if he didn't study what you're talking about, there's no possible way that he could know if it is or isn't disinformation. So that's a lie right there in itself. And how do you know who's paying the people who are calling stuff disinformation, or what kind of backdoor is in their programs or on their apps or sites where they're allowing government officials to just cancel culture everything you say? So some of the greatest minds in the world would never have gotten to speak if disinformation wouldn't have existed in their time. And that's a tragedy, because there was a lot of good speakers. And could you imagine? JFK would have been canceled. He would have been accused of disinformation. And he was one of the greatest minds ever. So was Martin Luther King, And how can you cancel people and tell everybody who has a brilliant idea or a thought that doesn't go with your narrative? How can you call these people wrong? How can you call them out and say that they're spreading disinformation just because it doesn't go with your agenda? So I think the whole disinformation thing is a form of control by Marxists who want to be right and can't handle any debate on any subject. any meaningful debate on any subject. That's just my opinion.